We are live now, sir.
Yeah. Hari Om. Namaste to all. Namaste to all. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta Shrotriya Sadguru Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us. Today's discourse on Viveka Chudamani will continue. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakruto Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranadosmyam Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya Hari Om. Last time we had stopped at the verse number 437 according to this book I am following, Viveka Chudamani. And the significance of being a Jivan Mukta, a liberated, realized Mahatman, and the attributes of such the state of Jivan Mukta is being extolled and explained consistently by Acharya Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada. And every time, now and then, I will be repeating one point. The commentary on this Viveka Chudamani is mainly based on the commentary given by Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal of Jagadguru Sringeri Sharadamnaya Peetham. Now, in the next set of shlokas, Acharya is further dealing with the same thing, the attributes of a Jivan Mukta, the marks of a Jivan Mukta, how a Jivan Mukta or a realized master, a Jnani, a Paramajnani lives and behaves from the standpoint of the onlookers in this world, in this Jagat. न प्रत्यक् ब्रह्मणोर्भेदं कदापि ब्रह्मसर्गयोः प्रज्ञया यो विजानाति स जीवन्मुक्त इष्यते न प्रत्यक् ब्रह्मणोर्भेदं कदापि ब्रह्मसर्गयोः प्रज्ञया यो विजानाति स जीवन्मुक्त इष्यते. Acharya is continuing. ಯಾವ ಮಹಾಪುರುಷನನ್ನ ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತಾನೆ, ಯಾರನ್ನ ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ, ಯಾವ ಪುಣ್ಯ ಪುರುಷ ಜೀವ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಹಾಗೂ ಜಗತ್ತು ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಥಾರ್ಥ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಭೇದವನ್ನ ಕಲ್ಪಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲವೋ, ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಜೀವ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಏಕತ್ವ ಭಾವವನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೋ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈಶ್ವರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ, ಈ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಜಗತ್ತು ಸಹ ಏಕತ್ವ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲೇ ಆತನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೋ ಅಂಥವನು ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರತ್ಯಕ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣೋ ಅಭೇದಂ ಕದಾಪಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸರ್ಗಯೋ ಅಭೇದಂ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆಯ ಯೋ ನ ವಿಜಾನಾತಿ ಸ ಜೀವನ್ಮುಕ್ತ ಇಷ್ಯತೆ. So here, such a elevated, great soul, such a master is referred as Jivan Mukta, a Brahmajnani, Atmajnani, wherein he will never see the difference totally between his own self Pratyagatma and the Parabrahma Vastu or Ishvara or Paramatma, Brahma Padartha. He will not see the difference at all, not an iota of difference between Atma and Parabrahma, between Atma and Paramatma, between Pratyagatma and Ishvara. That is called, all the time he will be under the stabilized mental state of Brahma Atma Ekatva Bhava. Both are one. Similarly, Tadapi Brahma Sargayoho na Prajnaya Vijanati. Similarly, he will never see the difference between this Parabrahma Vastu and the manifested world. Brahma Sargayoho. Sarga refers to manifested world. This Brahmanda, this universe. Tadapi na Prajnaya Vijanati. Sajivan Mukta Ishyate. Such a person is called Jivan Mukta. Because he has, by his first-hand knowledge, by the direct experience, by the anugraha of the self, by the anugraha of his own Atma, he has realized his true nature. That he himself is the Atma Swarupa or Parabrahma Swarupa. He himself is that Paramatma Swarupa. There is absolutely not even an iota of difference between this type of understanding, this type of awareness. So he is all the time aware. It is very difficult to explain by words what Acharya here is actually hinting at to the Uttamadhikari or the qualified disciple. When it is simply said that a Jivan Mukta, a Atmajnani will never differentiate between Atma and the Brahma Padartha, or between the Brahma Padartha and the world, it's very difficult to follow these points because our minds are still rooted in Ajnana. The veil of Maya is there, Jnana is there, and our mind is active with the ego factor, with me and mine complex. So always our mind is identifying itself with the body because the ego is always acting upon 24/7 in our life. So how the mind of a jnani works, how it is stabilized, how it is stilled, how it is calm in the equanimous mode beyond the veils of the Maya, very difficult to follow. So jnani is always rooted means always is steadfast in his wisdom, is aware all the time of himself, the reality of himself. That is awareness, that is prajna, tasya prajna pratishtita. So that is why he is called sthita prajna. A jnani is always called sthita prajna. An atmajnani is always called sthita prajna. And as per the definitions here, Acharya is doling out, the jnani here also is referred as Jivan Mukta, a liberated soul. What is Jivan Mukta? State. While still living in the body, when the body is still alive, the person has liberated himself from this samsara. He has come out of the Maya. He has come out of the cycle of birth and death, while still the body is alive. So that is why he is referred as Jivan Mukta. So he always remembers. It is not simply by rote, by hearting the Upanishad Vachanas, he experienced himself the meaning of the Upanishad Vachanas, Mahavakyas. Ayamatma Brahma, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, aham brahmasmi, prajnanam brahma. So these Mahavakyas of Upanishads are actually experienced. Actually, he is living in that state of the awareness of the inner core meaning of the Mahavakyas of Shrutis or Upanishads. That is the point Acharya is telling here. That's why Acharya says, next shloka, Sadhubihi pujyamanesmin pidhyamanepi durjanaihi samabhavo bhavedyasya sajivan mukta ishyate. Sadhubihi pujyamanesmin pidhyamanepi durjanaihi samabhavo bhavedasya samabhavo bhavedyasya sajivan mukta ishyate. He is called Jivan Mukta. ಇಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಇಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತಾನೆ ಯಾರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಯಾವ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲೂ ಸರ್ವತ್ರ ಸದಾ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇತರೆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇತರೆ ಸಾಧು ಸಜ್ಜನರಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಸಾಧುಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಸಜ್ಜನರಾಗ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನನ್ನ ಗೌರವಿಸಿದರೆ, ಹೊಗಳಿದರೆ, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ವಿನೀತ ಭಾವದಿಂದ ಸದಾ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ದುಷ್ಟ ಜನಗಳು ತನ್ನನ್ನ ಪೀಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನಿಂದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ ಅನಿಸಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ವಿಚಲಿತನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರ ಹೊಗಳಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ತುತಿಯಿಂದ ಆತ ವಿಚಲಿತನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಪ್ಪಿ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರ ತೆಗಳಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಬೈದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದಲೂ ಸಹ ವಿಚಲಿತನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆತನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತವಾಗಿ ಶಾಂತವಾದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆತ ಸಮಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಸಮಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾರು ಹೊಗಳಿದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಯಾರು ತೆಗಳಿದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಸರ್ವತ್ರ ಸಮದರ್ಶಿ, ಸಮಭಾವ ಅಂಥವನು ಜೀವನ. ಆತನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣದಲ್ಲೂ, ಆತನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಈ ವ್ಯವಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇತರೆಯವರಿಂದ ಉಬ್ಬಿ ಹೋಗೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಕುಗ್ಗಿ ಹೋಗೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸದಾಕಾಲ ಶಾಂತ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥವನು ಜೀವನ್ ಮುಕ್ತ. ಸೊ this particular shloka is so profound, we have to understand this very clearly. Sadhubihi pujyamane asmin idyamanepi durjanaihi samabhavo bhavet yasya sa jivan mukta ishyate. Sadhubihi pujyamane asmin. See, if sadhu here means gentlemen, the other dignitaries, other sattvic people, other normal devotees or the disciples, whoever it is, even if the earnest followers, people lovingly, if they adore him, praise him a lot in private or in public, in front of others, a Jivan Mukta is not perturbed, he is not disturbed, he is not influenced. When somebody goes on praising him, when somebody comes in front of him and prostrates with folded hands, and when somebody goes on praising him in front of others, a Jivan Mukta, in the heart of the heart, his mind always in the equanimous mode, he is not influenced. He will not feel extremely happy if you go and praise him. In our case, normal people, you know how life goes. See, we feel highly elated. Our ego is bloated as we come. Our ego gets bloated. We enter into a state of super ego. When somebody goes on praising me in front of others, always with the folded hands and prostrates to me, what happens? Now I am actually influenced. I react in a wonderful way because somebody is actually loving me, respecting me, prostrating at my feet with the folded hands. So my Sharirabhimana, the status that me, myself, it further bloats. I feel very happy. I'll be in a joyous mood all the time. So whatever I say, it's taken in the right sense by others. It is a natural phenomenon. Throughout the world, in the waking world, in the worldly sense, everybody is influenced by the others' reactions. How others look upon me, how others behave with me, how others talk about me. I'm always influenced. And if people, on the other hand, in the opposite way, if you think, if I come to know that there are some people who are always spreading bad rumors about me, always talking ill of me, projecting me in a different sense, may not be in front of me, but in front of others. So when I come to know that there are people who are not happy with me, they are falsely spreading rumors about me, falsely implicating me, and calling me by names, then I feel very much hurt, very sad, very angry. These are the reactions in the body. My mind reacts. So when somebody abuses me, I feel really angry to the extent that I will never talk to him anymore. I will throw him out from my life, from my acquaintance list. I will stop reacting to him. I will stop meeting him. I start hating. So these are the normal. So what about Jivan Mukta here? Pidyamanepi durjanaihi. Even whether somebody adores and prizes or when somebody abuses him, when evil persons, durjana, when bad people, people with full of tamasic qualities, people with evil intentions, when they abuse him, he is not influenced. He is not disturbed. His mind is calm and quiet. So he is equanimous, no reaction. He takes everything in the right sense. And that is why he is always free. He is liberated from the joy and the sorrow of the life. Neither he is elated nor he is depressed. So that is how sa jivan mukta ishyate. Such a person with equanimous mind is called jivan mukta. So with an example in the next shloka, Acharya takes a simile he gives to explain this point. Yatra pravishta vishayaha parerita nadi pravaha iva varirasho liyanti sanmatkrataya navikriya utpadayantyesha yatir vimuktaha. Yatra pravishta vishayaha parerita nadi pravaha iva varirasho liyanti sanmatkrataya navikraya vikrayam utpadayanti esha yatir vimuktaha. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಏನು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನೂರಾರು ನದಿಗಳು ಸಾಗರವನ್ನ, ಸಮುದ್ರವನ್ನ ಸೇರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಅಗಾಧವಾದ ನೀರಿನ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವನ್ನ ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿಸಿದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಎಂದು ತುಂಬಿ ತುಳುಕೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಮುದ್ರ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ನದಿಯ ನೀರನ್ನ ತನ್ನ ಒಳಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಸಮುದ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಮುದ್ರ ಉಕ್ಕಿ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹರಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ನದಿಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ನೀರನ್ನ ಚೆಲ್ಲಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಆಕಾರ ಬದಲಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಆ ಪೋಷಣೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾತ್ಮ ಏಕತ್ವ ಭಾವನೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಯತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವ ಮುನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇತರೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ ವಾಸನೆಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ, ವಿಷಯಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ ಆತನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೂ ಸಹ ಅವುಗಳು ಆತನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆತ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತವಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಯತ್ರ ಪ್ರವಿಷ್ಟಾ ವಿಷಯಾಃ ಪರೇರಿತಾ ನದಿ ಪ್ರವಾಹ ಇವ ವಾರಿರಾಶೌ ಲೀಯಂತಿ ಸನ್ಮಾತ್ರತಯಾ ನ ವಿಕ್ರಯಾ ಉತ್ಪಾದಯಂತಿ ಏಷ್ಯ ಯತಿರ್ವಿಮುಕ್ತಃ. So this example Acharya is taking here, one simile he is quoting here, that from all different angles, so many rivers ultimately they join the ocean with all their water pouring into the ocean from all different sources, different angles. With all that, continuously when different sets of rivers are entering into the ocean media, the ocean remains stable. Ocean always remains full and receives the water from all directions from different rivers. The ocean is not influenced. It always remains calm. How much water from different rivers enter into the ocean, nothing will happen. That water is completely absorbed into the ocean. The ocean will not spill over in our common sense English. That is the example Acharya is giving. Ocean will not spill over. So, similarly, when in the waking world, in the worldly sense in which the Jivan Mukta is moving and living and reacting, different types of reactions, different types of thoughts, communication reach the Jivan Mukta from different levels, different sources. Good people, bad people, everybody will be in contact with the Jivan Mukta. They will be telling, they will be talking, they will be expressing their views, they will be trying to influence. So there is a lot of communication from all angles. But yet, in spite of that, the Jivan Mukta, everything, all such thoughts, reactions from different people will merge within Jivan Mukta, and absolutely he remains unbothered, totally non-bothered. So all merged in pure Brahman, like the rivers flowing from different areas, from different directions, merge within the sea. He is not affected by whatever things happening in and around a liberated person. A liberated person is not at all affected, is not at all affected by the worldly things, changes in the world, happenings of the world. He is not affected at all. His mind always in the equanimous mode, because he is beyond all vasanas. He is vasana mukta. He is beyond all vasanas, tendencies. His mind is stabilized. His mind has become purest of the pure, Shuddha Sattva. And his vasanas are all extinguished. That is why he will not react internally. There is no interaction inside. Everything, for everything, whatever he sees, whatever he hears, whatever he observes, he remains very calm internally, no change, no distraction. He will never react at all internally. His mind is fully stabilized. How to explain anything more? Very difficult for people like us to explain what Acharya is. So he is giving the simile of an ocean, receiving waters, different sets of water from different sources, from different rivers, from all angles, yet the ocean remains calm and undisturbed. Water is pouring into the ocean from all angles, from all directions, in the form of different rivers. All the time, all the time. But yet, ocean remains calm and unperturbed. That is the way Jivan Mukta's mind, a Jnani's mind, always remains calm and unperturbed, undisturbed. We react and we become disturbed for so many things, morning to evening in our life. We always react. Our mind is so fickle, restless. Always it reacts. Always it reacts. Because that Sharira Bhava is there. I means this body-mind complex. I myself never detaches from this body-mind complex feeling. Whenever I think that I am so and so, means I am having this Sharira Abhimana, ego factor. So that is what is called body-mind complex. We are not away from this body-mind complex condition, this mental condition, as long as we are in Ajnana mode. So from birth to death, we are in that mode of Ajnana only. So always we are influenced by our own innate tendencies or vasanas or desires, fulfilled desires or unfulfilled desires. Always we are influenced. Whereas the Jivan Mukta is not at all influenced. He continues, Acharya here. For this example of ocean and the rivers entering into the ocean and the ocean remaining calm, here we have to remember one analogy in Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, by the end of Sankhya Yoga, while explaining the virtues of Sthita Prajna, a Samadarshi, a Tattvadarshi, Lord Krishna Paramatma tells Arjuna one beautiful point, taking this ocean itself as an example. There in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, please go through that. Second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, Lord Bhagavan, Krishna Paramatma tells Arjuna, while extolling the virtues of Sthita Prajna or Jivan Mukta, he says, Aporyamanam achala pratishtham samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat. This is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Aporyamanam achala pratishtham samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kama yam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami saha shantim apnoti na kama kami shantim apnoti. Understood. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamaha yam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. Lord is making it so clear. Only a Samadarshi, a Sthita Prajna, Lord says, a Jivan Mukta, an Atmajnani, who has realized this true nature, only he attains eternal peace. His mind is stabilized, stilled, prashanta manas. So there is always peace generated. To whom the pleasures, enjoyments, or whatever it is, even if they enter him, they will not distract him. Just like when the rivers enter the ocean, but the ocean is always full and the ocean is not influenced or disturbed by the rivers. Ocean remains always without change. Apodhyamanam achala pratishtham, always remains without any change. Similarly, tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarvehe sashantim apnoti. Similarly, Bhagavan says, whatever feelings and pleasures and bhoga are there in the life, in the worldly life, in the worldly sense, all such pleasures and the enjoyments, the objects which bring in all such feelings, they never influence, they never disturb a jnani, because he is always under peace. His mind is always at peace. Whereas, na kama kami, Lord says, whereas a person who is a jnani, person who is still having this ego complex, I am so and so, a person with aham bhava, a person with sharirabhiman, a person, in other words, ajnani, a person who is not realized, he is referred as kama kami, because he always thinks of obtaining his, fulfilling his own desires, kama, his own desires. Always we crave, we work to fulfill our desires. Desires are generated one after another in our life, and we try to fulfill one aspect and the next aspect. So there is no end. All of our life, we are influenced by our own desires, and we live to complete, to fulfill our desires, to obtain what we want. So such people are referred Kamakami in Bhagavad second chapter. Same example of ocean. Lord has given. So next shloka here. Vijñāta brahma tattvasya yatha purvam na samsrutihi asti chenna sa vijñāta brahma bhavo bahirmukaha. Acharya is making a distinction here. Vijñāta brahma tattvasya yatha purvam na samsrutihi asti chenna sa vijñāta brahma bhavo bahirmukaha. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು? ಬ್ರಹ್ಮತತ್ವವನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡವನಿಗೆ, ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನನಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಸಾರ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರದ ಮೊದಲು ಯಾವ ಭಾವ ಇತ್ತು, ಸಂಸಾರವನ್ನ, ಜಗತ್ತನ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆತ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸಂಸಾರ ಮೊದಲಿನ ಹಾಗೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಮೊದಲಿನ ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಆತನಿಗೆ ಸಂಸಾರದ ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಇದ್ದರೆ, ಸಂಸಾರದಿಂದ ಆತ ಪ್ರಭಾವಿತನಾದರೆ, ಆತ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಆತನಿಗೆ ಆ ಅರಿವು ಮೂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಆತ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಹಿರ್ಮುಖನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಹೊರ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಸ್ಪಂದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನು ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇದು ಆಚಾರ್ಯರ ಪರಿಭಾಷೆ. ಸೊ Acharya in this shloka is making a clear-cut distinction between a person who is aware of himself, his own reality, and normal people who are not aware of their own reality. Normal people means ajnani. Ajnani means, I means this body-mind complex. So this ahankara, aham bhava, me concept, along with mine concept, always there in us. Me and mine. Ahamta, mamata. Aham bhava plus mamakara. Me and mine. So we are ajnanis. So Acharya is making a distinction here between a jnani, how he looks, and a ajnani, how he looks. Vijñāta brahma tattvasya yatha purvam na samsrutihi. A person who is realized, a person who has obtained Brahmajnana, person who has become a Brahma Tattva, a person who has understood the Brahma Tattva, a person who has become a Brahmavit, as Shrutis often declare, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahma becomes Brahma only. So a person who has become a Brahmavit, or understood, a person who has understood the Brahma Tattva, Vijnata Brahma Tattvasya Yatha Purvam Samsruti. The world, the samsara, as it was observed, experienced before realization, it will not be the same after realization. After realization, after Brahma Sakshatkara, after the dawn of Jnana, in the common sense, in the common English, once the Jnana dawns in, same person will not experience the world, the worldly affairs as he experienced before realization. Yatha purvam na samsruti. The samsara as appeared before will not be the same for a realized person. Asti chetna savijnata brahma bhavo bahirmukha. Next. But Acharya continues, he now sets in the difference. If the samsara still persists, let us say, for argument's sake, a person the world appears in the same way as to the pain and pleasures of the world objects, then consider that he is not a Brahmajnani. Consider this is clear. If the samsara persists even after the dawn of the jnana, always remember that he is really not realized. Because if he is still experiencing the worldly affairs, influenced and reacting to the worldly affairs as usual, then the jnana has not dawned yet. Brahmajnana has not dawned. He has not understood or experienced Brahma Tattva. Still, he has not experienced Brahma Atma Ekatva Bhava. Still, he has not experienced that purport of the Mahavakya of the Shruti, Tattvamasi. So he is not yet stabilized in that Mahavakya of Shruti, Aham Brahmasmi. I am nothing but the Atma Swarupa. There is nothing else. There is no second. So this feeling is not completely settled. So there is no direct perception, no direct awareness still. So the aparoksha anubhuti has not occurred. Indirectly, he must have understood the principle, but directly, he has not experienced. So, the art aparoksha is what I get. Na savijnata brahma bhavo bahirmukaha. So that is the point. Further he continues about the same point. Further he elaborates in the next book. Prachina vasana vegat asau samsara iti. Iti chet na sadekatva vijnanat Mandi bhavati vasana. Now Acharya tries to logically explain a doubt which may arise in the minds of sadhakas. What is the doubt? Prachina vasana vega asau samsarati iti chet. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಒಂದು ಸಂಶಯವನ್ನ ತಾವಾಗಿಯೇ ಎತ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಸಂಶಯ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ಆದರೂ ಸಹ ವಾಸನೆಗಳ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮದ ಪ್ರಬಲವಾದ ವಾಸನೆಗಳ ಫಲ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ವಾಸನಾ ವೇಗದಿಂದ ಆತ ಸಂಸಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರವರ್ತನಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಸಂಸಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ, ಆತನ ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಇನ್ನೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ಆದರೂ ಸಹ ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಉತ್ತರ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಅಭೇದ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮ ಒಂದೇ ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಅದ್ವೈತ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ, ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರವಾದ ನಂತರ, ಅದ್ವೈತ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಯಾದ ನಂತರ, ತಾನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪನೇ ಆಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಈ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪವೇ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಗಾತ್ಮವೇ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವಾಗಿದೆ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಪದಾರ್ಥವಾಗಿದೆ, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪವಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಅಭೇದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಅಭೇದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಉಂಟಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಈ ಸಂಸಾರದ ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ತಾವಾಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತವೆ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ವಾಸನಾ ವೇಗಾತ್ ಅಸೌ ಸಂಸರತಿ ಇತಿ ಚೇತ್ ನ ಸದೇಕತ್ವ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಂದಿ bhavati vasana. Acharya is raising a question here and he's answering the same question. What is the question? The question is a doubt, rather question. If there is a doubt that even after realization, a Brahmajnani, a Atmajnani is still bound to the samsara. He is living in the samsara. He is living in the world. So he is bound to the world, bound to the samsara by his past vasanas, which are there in the body and mind. As long as he is alive, his body, mind is there, and vasanas are there in the body-mind complex. So he is bound by the vasanas. If that is a doubt, if that is a question in the mind, then Acharya says, no, the answer. No, he is not bound by any more vasanas, he says. Because after realization, the vasanas, tendencies, natural instinctive feelings which were there in the body-mind complex, stored in the chitta, as a result of the previous hundreds of births, all those vasanas get totally, gradually, they become dull and extinguished. Automatically, they are destroyed. That's what Acharya says here. After realization, all the vasanas, tendencies, the feelings earlier, which were there in the mind, they get destroyed. Vasana kshaya will occur. That's what. Vasanas, tendencies will get destroyed means a jnani will no more have any desires of his own. No more specific desires of his own. His mind is so pure. No more desires. No more vasanas. I want this. I want that. I want to go there. I want to sit here. I want to do this. I want to have more money. Who will provide me food tomorrow? Who will provide me food tonight? Who will provide me shelter tomorrow? Who will provide shelter to me today? All such mental vrittis, deliberations, aspirations, desires, expectations, all in the form of vasanas, they get extinguished in a jnani. So he remains always at peace. A jnani, how he remains? He is only a witness. He doesn't expect a particular thing to happen. If some things happen, he remains a witness. He is not disturbed at all. Whatever comes in the way, he accepts. In the sense, neither wantonly he accepts nor he discards. See, please remember, whatever comes in the way, it means whatever happens, in the normal sense, normal English is, he accepts to the fact as a witness. So internally, neither he is elated if some things happen, good happen to him, nor he is dejected. He observes everything in the equanimous mode. Whatever happens, happens. See, in Bhagavad Gita, our Gurudev was very fond of short phrases of Bhagavad Gita, what Lord Krishna Paramatma used to tell to Arjuna regarding a jnani, how he behaves. One small phrase our Gurudev was always fond of. How a jnani, a realized person, a realized master behaves in the world. Yadrushtalava santushto dvandvatita vimatsaraha. Yadrushtalava santushtaha dvandvatita vimatsaraha. So he was always fond of such small single line, the first charana or second charana of the shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. What does it mean there? Our Gurudev used to explain to me. How a jnani remains? Yadrushtalava santushtaha. He is happy, happy in the sense, not a mental state or a attribute. He remains always as a witness. Happy means always equanimous. He always remains happy when whatever things come to him, he will not react. He will neither say, give me, nor he will say, no, take it away. Don't give. That means neither he will accept, nor he will reject. He remains stabilized. Yadrushtalava santushtaha. So whatever happens by prarabdha in this life, as long as the body is alive, he remains a witness. Yadrushtalava santushta. Whatever happens, let it happen. He is not perturbed. He is no more influenced. Again, same words we have to repeat. He remains calm and quiet, whatever may happen. Whatever happens today, whatever happens tomorrow, he remains calm and quiet. He receives everything in the right sense. Yadrushtalava santushtaha. Santushtaha. Always his mind is in the equanimous mode. He is happy to receive good or bad. Dvandvatitaha vimatsaraha. So he is always beyond the aspect of pairs of opposites. Dvandva atitaha. Pleasure and pain, opposites. When there is pleasure, you feel happy. When there is pain, you suffer, you grieve, you weep. That's what we do. When there is pain, we start weeping and yelling. When there is pleasure, we are very happy. See, these are dvandvas, opposites. These are the exact opposites, pairs of opposites. Sukha and dukkha, good and bad, opposites, dvandva. So he remains calm. So he is atitaha, he is beyond these pairs of opposites. Atitaha, dvandva atitaha. He is beyond the dvandva. He is beyond pleasure and pain, sukha and dukkha, good or bad, beyond these opposites. Dvandvatita vimatsaraha. A jnani is vimatsaraha. He doesn't hate anyone. There is no jealousy. Even if bad people, evil people are there, abuse him, they try to bring harm to him, knowingly well, he will not abuse them back. he is only a witness. Their karma will catch them, he knows. The karma siddhanta. So unduly he is not perturbed. Vimatsaraha, no jealousy. He is beyond jealousy. Vimatsaraha. So our Gurudev always used to say like that, explain to me. Yadrushtala vasantushta bandhuvati vimatsara. So that is the state of a nature of a jnani. So Acharya says here, a Brahmajnani, that is why he is not bound to the samsara anymore. He is not influenced by the vasanas anymore. Vasanas will totally distinguish. Vasana kshaya will appear. His desires, vasana means tendencies, innate, inborn tendencies to possess this, to have that, to acquire this, to acquire that. They will vanish. So he remains desireless. So to further in the next shloka, Acharya explains the same point with a subtle example. With a subtle example, Acharya takes. He explains that. अत्यंत कामुकस्यापि वृत्ति कुंठति मातरि तथैव ब्रह्मणे ज्ञाते पूर्णानंदे मनीषिणः अत्यंत कामुकस्यापि वृत्ति कुंठति मातरि तथैव ब्रह्मणे ज्ञाते पूर्णानंदे मनीषिणः. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯಿಂದ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ವಾಸನೆಗಳು ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ. ಎಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ ಲಂಪಟ, ಲೈಂಗಿಕ ತೃಷ್ಣೆಯಿಂದ ಉತ್ತೇಜಿತನಾಗಿ ಪರಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಂಘವನ್ನ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮನಸ್ಸುಳ್ಳಂತ ಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ಅವನನ್ನು ವಿಷಯ ಲಂಪಟ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ. ಲೈಂಗಿಕ ಆಸೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ಆ ಕಾಮಕ ಭಾವನೆ ಯಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯೂ ಸಹ ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವಂತ ತಾಯಿ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಅವಳು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ನಿಜ, ಆದ್ರೆ ತಾಯಿ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ತಾಯಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಆತನ ಚಿತ್ತವೃತ್ತಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮಕತನ ತೋರಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎದುರಿಗಿದ್ದವಳು ಹೆಣ್ಣಲ್ಲ, ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವಂತ ತಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ಆತನಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣನಾದ ನಿಜಾನಂದವಾದಂತಹ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪವೇ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮವನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೂ ಸಂಸಾರ ವೃತ್ತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಾನೇ ತಾನಾಗಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಹಿಂಜರಿಯುತ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆ, ತಥೈವ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣಿ ಜ್ಞಾತೆ ಪೂರ್ಣಾನಂದೇ ಮನೀಷಿಣಃ. So now Acharya is giving an example here. Atyanta kamakasyapi vrittihi kunthati matari. Even a person with extreme lustful tendencies, a person with extreme attraction towards the opposite sex, all the time his mind is full of lust. The sexual feelings. When a person looks at a woman, his sexual urges will increase. Even with such a person who is called Vishaya Lampata, full of lust. When the mother comes in front of him, even though the mother is a lady, when the mother comes in front of him, his lust is suppressed. His Vishaya Vasana suppressed, because the person in front of him is not a lady or not a woman, but own mother. So his lustful feelings totally get diminished in front of his own mother. When he looks upon his mother, there is no more lustful feeling in his mind. Same way, with this example, Acharya says, same way, similarly, just like a person becomes restrained in front of his mother, he will not show his lustful nature. In the same way, for a jnani, for a realized person, the samsara vasana, they get extinguished. Tathaiva brahmani jnate purnanande manishina. So, for a knower of Brahma, for a realized person, all his feelings, vasanas, will just vanish. Just vanish. So that is the example Acharya is giving here. Now, so far, extensively, Acharya says, Shankara Bhagavatpada went on explaining the virtues of a Jivan Mukta, a realized soul, a realized Mahatma, a Samadarshi, a Tattvadarshi. One after another, sets of shlokas. As it was told last time, what are the attributes of a Jivan Mukta? How a realized person, how a jnani lives and behaves in the world. Why he is called a Mahajnani? Because he has escaped from the clutches of birth and death, the cycle of birth and death, or the samsara itself. No more rebirth will be there. This body is there due to prarabdha. The body will live till the end of its prarabdha, and then the body will be cast off. So he will simply cast off the body. He is no more concerned with his own body. There is no more ahankara and mamakara in his mind. The mind is purified, vasanas have gone, personal desires have gone, and he is a witness to all happenings in life, good or bad. Now, in the next sets of shlokas, Acharya now deals with a very important point, that is what is called prarabdha and the nature of prarabdha. So this concept of prarabdha appears sometimes very simple, appears sometimes very difficult to follow and understand. What is this prarabdha? So as long as we are ajnanis, normal people in the world, our definition, our way of thinking into explaining, understanding the word prarabdha in the Vedanta is different. The way we experience, the way we try to communicate, that is different than the way a jnani experiences. A jnani, how he observes, how he looks into this word prarabdha. ಈ ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವೇದಾಂತದ ಒಂದು ಘಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ವೇದಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತೇವೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮಂತಹ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಮನುಷ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡುವ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿನೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಹೇಳುವ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವಗಳೇ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ರೀತಿ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ನಡವಳಿಕೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ಸ್ವಂತ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗೆ ಅದು ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧವೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಷಯ. ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಇದನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟೀಕರಣ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು. Now in these coming shlokas, Acharya is dealing with what is prarabdha, nature of prarabdha. Is there prarabdha for a jnani also? All these points, because the Upanishads declare here and there that the prarabdha is there for the body. Prarabdha is there for the body. The body is born out of prarabdha. What is this prarabdha? So body cannot live without the prarabdha. So whatever actions we have done in the previous births, some of the fruits of the action, the rewards for the action, we have to experience in this birth. This birth is mainly, it has appeared, we have appeared to experience the fruits of the karmas, actions we did in the previous births, some previous births. So this birth has come for us to experience the good and bad effects of what we did past births. So this is called prarabdha for us. For a jnani, it is something different. So there is no comparison. The distinction, the explanation, the way a jnani looks at, for him there is no prarabdha at all. From the standpoint of jnani, a realized person, there is no prarabdha. But Shruti, Upanishads say that the prarabdha is there for the body. Now all these points now are taken up by Acharya in these next set of shlokas. Again, in simple, to remember, what is the word prarabdha means? What does word prarabdha means? Prarabdha is a Vedantic word. Prarabdha means all the good and bad experiences in this life, good and bad feelings or happenings in this life, favorable and unfavorable conditions in this life, what we go through till the death. They are the results we have to face because of what we did in some previous births. Please remember, there is no hard and fast rule in this karma siddhanta because it is secret. The law of karma is so secret, we cannot understand how it works. The interconnection network of karma is so vast, we cannot understand it all. But one thing is sure, for every action, for every activity, for every karma we have done, there is some result. The action I perform has to give some result. That result is called prarabdha. If I do good thing, now there is a good result. If I do bad thing, now there is a bad result. This is law of karma. Immutable karma. So I have to face. I have to face the good and bad because of what I did. Even in this birth, what I have done earlier, in the younger days. Now they will come back to me in the form of prarabdha, the effects. So supposing I have done good things now itself in the previous younger days, I may enjoy certain benefits, fruits of that in this birth itself. If I have done bad things in this birth, I may suffer because of that in this birth itself. So that is prarabdha. All these points are there. Now Acharya takes in detail about this nature of prarabdha, the concept of prarabdha, and what is this prarabdha, and how the standpoint of a jnani and the standpoint of a ajnani, now they differ here in understanding the nature of prarabdha. ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರಾದಂಥ ನಮ್ಮಂಥ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಇವೆರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಅಗಾಧವಾದ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆ. ಈ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗುರು ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಹಿಯರ್ at the shloka number 443 in this book. I am stopping here. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwara.